phone dia. Alright. Recording. Okay. You nampak screen apa? Cannot minimize pula when you are recording this meeting. Siapa yang nak share screen? Oh, alright, good.
Saya.
Benda dia dah record, so you can okay, later on check. Oh yeah, okay. Right, siapa yang nak record ni? Siapa? I tak nampak siapa.
Saya, Fitri.
Fitri, okay, right. Oh, proceed.
Yes. My question is December 2019.
Alright, good.
Okay, I will go through the brief scenario of the case. But case tu ialah scenario, dia bagi scenario. So, I pendekkan dia. Okay. Dia ada driver A. Driver A's name is David. David is driving at 60 km/h in a residential area, which is the speed limit is also at 60 km/h.
Good.
And then coincidentally, David was driving near to the children playing park. There's a children named Bobby chasing down a ball that is the ball is rolling into the road on the road. And
everyone
David,
picture it, you can picture it. You saw Bobby chasing down the ball. You can see the boy, right? Okay, good.
And then the boy, the ball and the boy is on the middle of the road, and David is trying to avoid the boy. So there's a car beside David. His name is Peter. So David had a collision with Peter, and then Peter's car hits on the telco post, which is at the roadside. And the telco post broken into two pieces, hits on the Bobby, and Bobby become unconscious. And Bobby has a babysitter. Her name is Nani. Nani is the witness of this incident, which Nani is still in the park. So Nani just witnessed all the incidents, and then Nani is having a serious shock after witness this incident. And Bobby is unconscious, but then after admitted to the hospital, he woke up, but he's suffering in trauma.
So how many people first in any exam or situation in your practice later on, everyone must identify how many people are involved in this situation. So we have David, we have Bobby,
Peter, Bobby,
Nani. So in your exam, identify from the question how many people are involved in this. So who is the culprit?
David.
David.
David
Okay.
and Peter.
Peter, why?
Peter
speeding next to him. And
yes.
Okay, so we have two people, the potential defendant. So defendant number one is David, defendant number two is Peter. So who is the plaintiff that wants to sue them?
Bobby and Nani.
Bobby and Nani, okay. So Bobby died.
Conscious. No.
Okay, right.
Bobby is cautious.
Okay, we have plaintiff one, Bobby, plaintiff two, Nani. Right.
But I don't know where to put the situation for the telco post.
That it is not the fault of the telco post to be there.
But in the questions, it mentioned that the telco post using a cheap material that the wooden is broken easily.
Okay, right. Okay, so we can put in as telco being the defendant number 3. Okay, right. Proceed with the answer. So, okay, good. So you do break them into groups,
David, yes, because the question is asking for the liability of David in this incident.
Oh, that was the question, not about anyone else.
Yes.
Okay, right. So David is the one that is driving faster at residential.
Yes.
His friend Peter. Peter did cause the accident or not?
David hit Peter, Peter hit the telco post, the
Okay,
telco
alright.
post hit Bobby.
Alright. So 1, 2, 3. Okay, fine. So how do you answer? Bobby primary victim, Nani secondary victim. Okay, what? Okay, proceed.
Because primary victim is having damage and is a direct. So secondary is not in the scenario. It's more like a witness. So we put Nani as a secondary victim.
Remember, primary and secondary victim, the differences is they are involved or not involved in the accident. Okay. Bobby involved in an accident. Nani was not involved in the accident, so she is automatically classified as secondary victim.
Okay.
So secondary victim, dia punya additional task that they have to prove is psychiatric injury certificate from the hospital.
Psychiatry illness kan, yang mental, the mental shock kan.
Yeah, the mental shock certificate, meaning the hospital must approve that they are suffering from mental illnesses. So primary don't have to have any certificate. So you just prove that they suffered injury. Okay, good. Lagi?
Okay, so my answer to the question is to establish a negligence, we have three elements to be proved.
Good.
First is a duty of care. Second is a breach of duty, and then the lastly is the causations of damage.
Very
so
good.
The first one is a duty of care by David. Okay, what is the duty of care of David? David must take a reasonable care to drive in a residential area, especially when he is arriving at a parks area whereby there's a lot of children playing. So David has to be driving within but not more than a speed limit so that he can react on time if in case of anything happen. So in this incident, David has reached his duty because he drive 60 km, which is on the speed limit, not really on the speed limit, it's more than a speed limit. Because we have to below 60, so we call it a within speed limit. So means that David already breached his duty driving fast in a residential area. So because David is not a professional, we will be conduct a reasonable man test.
Okay, good.
Yes, reasonable man test, which means that if we put another person, other people in this situation, could it be, how to say, how to put this in words? Kak Nora nak cakap tak?
Anyone can interject, you know?
Oh yeah, never mind. I try to explain.
You were saying just now is about apa? Macam mana?
Reasonable man test sebab dia drive laju kan.
The reasonable man test is on the first dengan the third one, right?
First and the third.
You nak pakai macam mana? Reasonable man. Oh, you are putting on the bridge, reasonable man. Okay, fine. Okay. Then? Actually, what this is the application, right?
More to application.
More. So first in the exam, what you need to do is to establish the law. Where does duty of care come from?
Duty of care come.
So another slide that is to prove there is a law of duty, then law of breach, and then law of damage. It's okay. You don't have to do anything. You don't have to type anything. Just telling you that is the nature that you in the exam, that or when you practice later on, you must establish some kind of argument that there is a law of duty. Okay, law of duty comes from Come from case of Donahue Stevenson, right?
Yes.
So duty of care comes from Donahue Stevenson, and then you say that in order to prove negligence, duty plus breach plus damage, and then you put there duty, the principle or the test for establishing duty in that also particular case of Donahue Stevenson is derived from proximity and forcibility. Then you cakap lah Lord Atkin kata apa, that I should contemplate that particular person when I'm acting so-called, my act, in order for you to prove that there is possibility and proximity and possibility. Once you have that,
the neighbor principle.
Neighbor principle, yes. So you put in the situation or the law first, and then you apply as what you are doing right now. Duty to take care, to take reasonable care that is foreseeable. The now, guys, for the rest that is looking at the screen, what you need to do is whenever you mention about duty of care, application of duty of care, it must be the words that is being used under the law, and you apply it into your writings, into the case. Yeah, in this case, you are talking about David, the duty of David. So in order for you to establish duty of David, you must put the words, words macam mana? Where is the words, the keywords of the law?
Okay.
Apa yang kita kena letak? You dah letak dah. Reasonable care tu, you did not elaborate. What do you mean by reasonable care? Apa yang dalam duty? In order for you to establish duty, there must be proximity and possibility. Right, that is the keyword. Remember, guys, semua orang, if you talking,
sorry.
So dia mesti ada proximity and possibility. Now, itu law. Tapi bila dalam apply, bila you nak cakap pasal David, dia ada proximity dengan possibility, you kena apply the word proximity dalam perbincangan David tadi. So the act of David driving the car that is fast and the plaintiff, which is siapa, Bobby, right? The act of driving the car and the act of Bobby crossing the road, right? Irrespective of what, that is proximate. Okay, that is proximate because they are near to each other, right? If he is proximate to the other person, which is Bobby, what he should do is to foresee that if he were not to be careful, then he would hit someone, irrespective of whether he hit somebody else in order for that person to hit somebody else. You have that sequence of event, right? So here, what you need to do is to put the word proximity dalam perbincangan David tadi. Okay, in this case, David must take reasonable care because as a driver, or because as a reasonable driver, you letak situ, as a reasonable driver, boleh tambah kat situ tak? David must take care as a reasonable driver, as a reasonable, must take care because he
might hit.
Bukan you letak situ, because anyone in his position, buang he can. Anyone in his position would foresee. Nampak tak? I dah pakai perkataan foresee dalam test tadi. Foresee that he might injure someone We injure someone that is proximate to his act of driving fast. Okay. You nampak tak? 3 perkataan kita pakai. Kita pakai for C, kita pakai proximate, nampak tak? And then kita pakai apa lagi? Kita pakai reasonable. So the keyword, can you highlight and color that thing? Dalam ayat, dalam ayat. For C, color lain. Bold pun boleh. Proximate, bold. Care, ya, must take care misalnya duty of care lah. For C,
must take care.
Okay. As a driver, buang reasonable tu. Buang proximity. As a reasonable driver, buang reasonable saja. Right. As a driver, David must take care because any reasonable person, anyone tu ganti any reasonable person, any reasonable driver lah senang. Sebab kita talking about his act. Nampak? So everyone boleh baca tak? Sekarang ni kita dah apply. The law, you can mention about the law. In order to have the duty established, kita kena ada proximity and forcibility from the reasonable man punya standard, right? So ada 3 elemen. Now, the keyword of proximity, forcibility dengan reasonableness, kita pakai dalam kita punya ayat nak olah kepada problem yang diberi. Okay, as a driver, David must take care because a reasonable driver, highlight yang tu, reasonable driver tu. Okay, reasonable driver is another keyword yang kita pakai. Okay, must take care, reasonable driver, foresee, proximate. So now you are showing to the examiner or showing to the court later on as a lawyer. So you talk about the law, now you apply the law. What do you mean by apply the law? All the keywords in the law, you are using it in your elaboration of the facts. Yeah, everyone have to do this. This is lacking because you don't know how to apply. You mention about the law, but suddenly you don't know how to apply. This is how to apply. Okay, when you talk about David, you want to relate it to the law, you must relate it by using all the keywords. Yeah, so clear, everyone.
Yes, sir.
Nampak David must take care. Must take care is a duty of care lah. Because any reasonable, we talk about reasonableness of a person, and then in his position should foresee. Foresee apa? That if he is not careful, you boleh tambah kalau you nak, if foresee that he is not careful, tambah tu lepas foresee, would foresee that if he is not careful, if he is not careful, he buang that. Okay, he might injure someone that is proximate to his act of driving fast. Meaning you boleh tambah to his act of driving fast within the residential area. Within the residential area. Nampak tak? You olah. You jangan ambil cut and paste what happened in the question and put it as application. No, it is wrong. Okay. Kata nak tengok slide tadi Fitri. Okay, these are the facts that is given in the question. Do not take this and cut and paste. You are to apply. Nampak Fitri, balik kepada yang tadi slide number 4 tadi. Nampak? you are commenting on the act of David driving fast in the area, residential area, but you are now applying the law. Okay, David must take care, because any reasonable driver, okay, you emphasize the application of the law now, in his position would foresee, foresee what? If he is not careful, he might injure someone that is also proximate. Proximate in what way? Proximate in his act of driving fast within the residential area. Very good. So that is what I want you to be aware, how to apply the law. So sama juga kalau kita look at the breach of duty. Okay. So macam mana kita nak prove breach of duty? What is the test? Kita akan pakai test apa? Reasonable man test kan?
Reasonable man test, yes.
So, jadi macam mana you nak kata? A reasonable man would do what?
A reasonable man would be driving cautiously, not speeding in the residential area.
Cautious meaning you have to slow down, as you already mentioned. Kan? He has to slow down. And which any reasonable person in a residential area should slow down. Nampak you dah pakai reasonable man. Any reasonable driver, kita pakai any reasonable driver would slow down when they are driving at the residential area. This is because if they are not careful,
it might injure.
Because if they are not careful, kita nak emphasize kata dia fail to do that. What the what a reasonable driver would do in residential did not happen. So, okay, buang yang tadi tu, not careful, start daripada this is because tu, buang. Okay, so now what you want to do is to emphasize that he did not do what a reasonable driver would do. So he is breaching the standard. So macam mana ayat ni nak letak? I boleh bagi idea. In this situation, you nak comment. You are not to cut and paste. It is about commenting the question, the facts that is given. In this situation, apa yang jadi? Apa yang dia buat yang bukan reasonable driver? He did what?
Speeding.
Yes. In this situation, he was speeding, kan?
Yes.
Speeding. He was speeding. Then, which is what?
Abnormal.
And he was speeding. Therefore, you boleh kata therefore lah. Therefore, he is in breach of what a reasonable driver would do. Nampak tak? Di sini kan you boleh put in your critical analysis of the facts. Jadi you jangan rasa macam, oh macam mana ni? You boleh ingat dalam exam or dalam court nanti later on, you are to marry the law with your ability to argue. So this is a skill. So kita nak develop your skill. As a lawyer nanti later on, the skill is going to be sharpened lah. Tapi kita buat practice sekarang. So you guna argument, you baca balik. As any reasonable driver, nampak tak? Any reasonable driver would slow down when driving in residential area, because this is a reasonable thing to do.
Yes.
Kan? Yeah, but kita guna logic But in this situation, he was speeding. Therefore, we can say that he is in breach of what a reasonable driver would do, which is to slow down. Yeah. So, okay. Jadi application ni is very, bukannya kata nak panjang pun, tapi you are able to put in the words. Yeah. Any reasonable driver. You highlight any reasonable driver. That is the keyword of the law. Okay. Would slow down. He was speeding. Speeding ni dengan bridge tak ada. He was speeding tu is not the law. Bridge, nampak tak? Ayat bridge. Okay, bridge of what? Reasonable. Okay, cukup. You nampak tak? Apa yang dia buat dengan apa yang a reasonable driver would do is two different things. Right? Any reasonable driver, kalau dalam keadaan residential area, dia tak akan bawa laju, dia tak akan lawan bawa kereta laju dengan the other person, dengan Peter kan. So you boleh meletak kat dalam tu juga, di mana he was racing with the other person. So to build your case, to build your argument that he is supposed to know what he needs to do. Okay. A reasonable driver would slow down and do not engage in apa orang kata racing with the other person. Macam racing kan?
Macam lah.
Macam. So you can deduce saying that the other person was also riding fast. Maybe they are engaging in a racing situation, but that is depending lah how you want to build your case, right? In order for you to have a joint liability, you know, sebab si nak tarik kan Peter masuk dalam cerita ni, sebab Peter pun responsible juga, he was speeding, right?
Yes.
Okay. Jadi the rest boleh nampak tak? What we are doing is applying the law of breach of duty. Okay. So the word breach tak ada, breach of reasonable standard. Yeah. So you nak comment on the standard pun boleh juga. How do you know the standard? The standard is to slow down. Okay. So kalau you nak buat perkataan, no, this is not fixed. So dalam exam, so you feel free to what they call it, create your own sentences. Okay, jangan rasa macam kekok lah nak buat macam mana. Tak kisah. You nak buat macam mana, nak argue macam mana, it is up to you. As long as the word of law is there, macam yang the first one ada proximity, ada possibility, a reasonable driver, ada must take care, you know. So a reasonable driver dalam breach ni ada breach of duty. So you nak letak breach of a reasonable driver duty, kan? So you put in the words that you are supposed to use. Dia kata breach of duty kan? Macam mana dia nak emphasize breach of duty? So breach of what a reasonable driver would do, which is actually a breach of duty. Kan? Kalau you nak tambah kat situ. So boleh Fitri? The rest ada nampak tak what I'm trying to do?
Yes, nampak so.
Okay, so dalam exam punya question, a fact that is given to you. So what you need to do is to establish the law, and once you establish the law, you ambil keyword sahaja. So the keywords is the law. Now, kalau you tengok Fitri punya soalan ni, he is applying the law. Ini baru kita kata apply the law. Why I say apply the law? Because the words that or the comments that he is making is using the keyword of the law. Yeah, the case law, katalah case law kita ambil Donahue Stevenson talks about proximity and forcibility. So he has managed to take the forcibility and proximate and marry them into the problem that is given. Kalau semua baca, you akan nampak, nampak perkataan proximity, and then nampak dia punya application to the act of driving fast in the residential area, you know, therefore he has to be careful. So not to jangan rasa macam kekok untuk nak write, ya. Use simple English, tetapi you kena pakai perkataan yang low tadi. Yang causation, kita nak kena identify but for, ya. But for dalam cerita ni, macam mana kita nak apply but for dalam cerita case ni? Nak establish causation.
Was a result of the breach. Damage was not too remote.
Damage is not too remote, that you can foresee, kan? Ini foresee yang kedua yang kita pakai. Tadi foresee if he is not careful. Yang ni foresee the damage. Nampak ada dua berbeza, ya? Satu, foresee under duty of care. Foresee if he is not careful, then he might injure somebody that is proximate. Dalam causation, apa yang causation ialah kita nak tunjuk he is the cause of the damage. Damage to whom? Damage to Bobby dengan Nani.
Nani.
So he was the one that caused the damage to both of them. Tapi kita nak prove the primary Bobby dengan secondary Nani tu, kita kena prove in terms of forcibility lah. Whether the damage is not too remote, you know, things like that. Since we have not covered the third element, so it's quite confusing for the rest lah. Kalau you nak nampak, remember the first time kita discuss about negligent, damage must be proven caused by the defendant and not nobody else and not no one else. Faham tak, guys? Tadi kita buat duty, establish duty, kita establish breach. Dah memang pun dia dah breach. Now damage, adakah disebabkan dia?
Yes.
Damage kepada siapa? Kepada Bobby, kan?
Betul.
Bobby tak akan hurt kalau dia tak buat laju.
Yes.
Okay. So macam lah you duduk dekat, you bawa dekat third lane. Ini bagi example semua senang sikit. Kalau emergency lane, kalau traffic jam, right? Ada orang ambil third lane. Third lane, emergency lane, kan? So is it wrong for him to do that?
It is wrong.
It is wrong. Tapi kalau dia tak ada accident,
dia tak jadi apa.
Tak jadi apa-apa lah, kan? Walaupun dia ada duty, dia breach duty, there was no damage. So how can you say that he is responsible to you? Unless dekat jalan yang sama ada motosikal. Right? Selalu motorbike akan ambil emergency lane, kan? So bila dia bawa dekat emergency lane, kereta nak masuk emergency lane. Dia saja nak masuk, bukan ada emergency pun. Yeah, assuming that he is reckless. So dia masuk nak bypass the jam. Dia ikut jalan emergency. So dua orang. Sekarang kita ada motorcycle dan kereta. Kereta langgar motorcycle dalam emergency lane. Siapa yang salah?
Kereta.
Kereta salah, kan? Because dua-dua salah pakai emergency lane. Tetapi accident tidak akan berlaku kalau lah kata kereta tu tak negligent, bawa hantam the motorbike. So you cannot say that the motorbike tak sepatutnya ada kat situ. But because motorbike dah ada dah. Right, bukan kita assuming that motorbike berjalan, bukan motorbike stagnant, bukan dia rosak. So di sini causation of the damage is being caused by the defendant. Yeah. So yes.
Kalau let's say this case is dekat federal highway yang ada motorbike lane, tapi motorbike di dekat car lane, but in emergency lane, same thing happen.
The same thing happen.
Kereta yang salah.
Memang dua-dua salah. Dua-dua memang salah lah. Motorbike memang dia dah salah masuk emergency lane dekat highway. Lepas tu kereta pun masuk buat salah. Dua-dua salah memang. It's not deniable that dua-dua salah. Tapi masalahnya accident berlaku kepada siapa? Walaupun you salah, tak semestinya you you are the cause of the damage. So salah is different from the suffering of damage.
Okay, faham.
Faham? So jadi kalau you apply law, you can mention about plaintiff and defendant. Tapi kalau you sebut pasal the law, then you can mention about plaintiff defendant. Tapi kalau you dah apply, then you are not putting plaintiff and defendant word sahaja dalam tu. Tak boleh. Kita tak boleh pakai. Kenapa saya kata tak boleh pakai? Because this is not a case. Okay, this is a fictitious problem that is given to you. So you cannot put plaintiff. Ayat plaintiff tu menunjukkan bahawa kita tak berapa faham how to utilize it. It's okay for learning purposes, lantak lah kan ya. So here you letak nama people. So you must mention because causation is being done by siapa? Siapa yang cause damage to the Bobby? Siapa?
David cause damage.
You kena letak tiga-tiga. You kena letak Bobby, you kena letak siapa yang David, Peter dengan
Telco post.
the post tu. Telco post yang substandard.
Cause damage suffered by Bobby and Nani. So dua kena masuk.
So you boleh buat macam you relax kan, you comment kan. Mood of kita ialah comment. In this situation, what happened was Bobby and Nani suffered the consequence impact, consequence of the act of David, Peter, and Taco because they are sequence in nature, kan? They are sequence, yeah. But the consequence of whether David and Peter apa orang kata dia ada novice actors intervenance, maksudnya di sini Peter dah jadi dia negligence, ingat David negligent, Peter negligent, yalah pada takrifan kita lah, bukannya proven lagi but each one of them have to be proven. Now Peter bawa laju, David bawa laju. So adakah Peter yang bagi accident ataupun David?
Atau dua-dua?
Kalau dua-dua kita boleh kata they are 50-50% responsible lah. Tapi kalau lah kata Peter argue pula, dia kata bukan saya, it is because telco punya post tu that is substandard, that any car that hit this type of material akan patah kan.
Yes.
So here you have to be free in discussing. You argue. Okay, application is about argument, yeah guys. You can argue, but you argue using the law as what you argue ke atas. Yeah, ke atas you kata any reasonable driver. Yeah, so you dah start argue. Any reasonable driver should do what? Should slow down. Down why? Because they are driving in a residential area. Any reasonable person in that particular situation would do this thing. So you nak emphasize, you boleh tambah kepada ayat tadi. However, in this situation, he was speeding when he is not supposed to. Therefore, he is in breach of what a reasonable driver should have done or should do. Nampak tak? You are relaxed in your discussing of the facts. You be critical and commenting on it. Ramai yang takut untuk nak komen, takut lagi buat silap. Tak. You jangan risau kata you buat silap, because as long as you are utilizing the words, the keywords, you any reasonable driver, breach. So in that sense, you are applying the law. So causation ni sebab dia ada, tapi tak berapa dah penting sangatlah. Causation tak masuk dalam exam kan. Okay, lucky for you causation. Causation is a very technical punya situation. dia ada possibility, ada act of God, you know, act of a third person, that novice actors intervenant, that there is a breach of possession. Dalam argument ni, there is ada breach of possession because it's not about David alone. It is about Peter, and also it's about the negligence of the telco to have a substandard punya post, you know. So the argument is going to be lengthy, and ingat dalam finish that one. I just want to put another important thing is that when you are applying Fitri,
okay,
you letak kat atas to establish negligence ni, you buat double slide, you copy that slide, copy the slide number 4, copy that slide and then paste, buat duplicate. Okay, right. Okay, now number 4 slide, okay, you letak tu law, ya, buat bullet atas dia, to establish negligence, the law of negligence. Okay, law of negligence. So buang semua David punya reasonable apa semua tu. So tinggalkan case, ya. Okay, good. Buang semua tu, buang sampai
tinggal proximity saja.
Okay, proximity. Yang tu okay. Yang tu okay. Tak apa. Patah balik. Redo. Okay. So you nampak untuk law, kita akan letak the law which is coming from cases. Yeah. So you letak case law dulu. Buat bullet dekat duty of care tu. Ataupun immediately after that you letak betul lah tadi. Case Donoghue Stevenson. D-O-N-O-G no Q N-O-G-H-U-E N-O-G-H-U-E Stevenson. Okay. Di situ you akan letak bawah, klik enter. You letak the principle of neighborhood. Okay, bracket. Bracket. Explain. Explain the principle. Okay, tutup. Atas Donoghue Stevenson, just bracket. State only. Without the facts of the case. Okay, guys. You tengok sini slide number 4 ni, we are looking at to establish the law. Okay. It is not something that we discuss about the facts of the case. Facts of the case of the situation. Tak ada perkataan buang tu causation of damage bawah tu. Causation of damage last tu, Peter damage apa semua yang tu buang. Okay, boleh. Right. So just to give you an idea, first dalam exam what you need to do is to establish the law first. So here, what law that you have to establish? Negligence, right? So you put up the law of negligence comprises of duty, breach, and damage, right? You explain lah apa duty, breach, and damage dalam ayat tu, and then you kata duty pula, in order to prove duty, there must be reasonable care of a person towards the proximity and possibility toward another person. This can be seen from the case of Donoghue and Stevenson. You tak cerita pun pasal case tu pasal apa. Yang OPEC botol lah, pergi minum lah, diarrhea lah, apalah, tak ada. Okay, it's just mentioning the case. Tetapi mentioning the case is not enough. You must explain the principle or the ratio decidendi. Fitri, tolong letak explain the principle tu. You dash masuk dalam kotak tu, dalam kotak, dalam tu, dash. Ratio decidendi, RATIO decidendi. Okay, maksudnya kita cuma nak discuss ratio decidendi of the court in that particular. Kenapa kita kena discuss ratio decidendi? Because itulah law dia. Buat situ Fitri, sebelah ratio decidendi tapi luar bracket, buat equals tu, buat tanda equals tu. Equals tu ni cap lock law. Ini yang dinamakan case law. Ya, kita bagi case dan kita bagi law of that case, right? So here, what is the law of that? John Shear Stevenson is the principle of neighborhood. What is the principle of neighborhood? Fitri dah letak dah. Ada proximity, you know, proximity and forcibility. Tapi dalam ni Fitri masih dalam buang tu as a driver, David must take care, semua tu buang. Proximity tinggal. Proximity tinggal. Fitri. Okay. Right. Buat question mark situ. Okay. Forcibility. Question mark. Nampak tak? So here di sini forcibility and proximity kita explain. Okay. Kita explain macam mana yang telah di-explain dalam case tu. Tapi kalau you rasa you tak boleh nak explain in detail, sebab macam ni, dalam exam, kalaulah exam betul, kita tak ada masa untuk kita nak hafal. So, kita akan letak apa yang kita understand. So, proximity and forcibility is something yang you kena letak olah dengan ayat you sendiri. So, what do you understand about proximity? Proximity and forcibility adalah based on the situation of the person lah. So you can elaborate. And then next kita buat breach of duty, buang David through apa semua tu, buang sampai bawah, buang sampai alright. So ada breach of duty. So bubuh kat atas satu tu yang duty of care tu kan, buat number 1 bracket number 1. Okay, right. Number 2 is breach of duty. Okay, number 3 is buat number 3 is damage. Damage caused by breach of duty. So the rest you boleh nampak, first kita establish duty, lepas tu kita prove ada breach of duty, and then next is to prove that the damage suffered by the plaintiff is actually caused by the breach of duty. So di sini kita nampak tak ada tak perkataan David for Bobby ke apa ke, tak ada So kita establish the law dulu. Once you establish the law, nampak tak keyword kalau kita tengok nombor 1 tu, duty of care, duty of reasonable care, proximity, enforceability. Itu adalah hasil daripada Donahue and Stevenson yang neighborhood principle. Right? So itu yang diguna pakai dalam slide number 5. Fitri tolong move ke slide number 5. Nampak tak? Baru dah kita pakai possibility dengan proximity yang biru dengan merah tu. Okay. Duty yang hijau pun duty tu. Nampak tak? Ada tak relationship tak dengan nombor 4 dengan nombor 5? Slide nombor 4 dengan 5. Pergi ke nombor 4 ni, toggle between number 4 and number 5. Nampak tak? You highlight hijau, biru, proximity, forcibility. Nampak di sini jangan sekali-kali discuss the facts of what happened dalam Donoghue. You cuma concern about establishing the law. So in order to establish the law, what was used sebagai dalam judgment tu as ratio decidendi. Dalam ratio decidendi you akan nampak the keyword of proximity and forcibility. And then duty. Ya, perkataan duty akan dimention dalam ratio decidendi. Duty of care dalam in religion is to love your neighbor, but in law is to not harm your neighbor. So boleh nampak kat situ So breach of duty pun ada dia punya case. Okay, di mana breach of duty punya reasonable man dia ada dia punya case. So you have to, you tak boleh just kata there must be duty. It is your words. It is not law. You must prove the law. In order to prove the law, you kena bawa keluar case law dia tu. Case tu. So case you boleh bagi mana-mana case, tapi kalau you dapat case yang macam Donoghue Stevenson yang principal case, principal case. So principal case is the one that came about how to set the law, right? It is better for you to have a principal case. Tapi kalau you tak nak, yang ni you ambil blade you pakai blade kan. So boleh pakai mana-mana yang you can easily identify that that case is actually talking about that law, right? Especially yang you buat dekat MLS. MLS you tahu cases of same nature dia ada dia punya ranking kan. So lagi higher the court, lagi power dia punya law tu. So any court yang keluar buat dengan any law pula. The law that came from federal court ataupun came from what they call it House of Lords, they are the one that is very important for us to highlight. Okay, kebanyakannya kes-kes lepas daripada tu ikut je. So
yes.
Okay, you understand what I'm trying to say. So here is the slide number 4 is trying to establish the law. Yeah, nampak tak? The keyword Fitri letak is to establish. So in order for us to establish, it is a law because kita tak ada akta kan. So we are to establish the law by virtue of the cases. So di sini pentingnya you kena letak cases, not to discuss the facts of the case, tetapi what is the rule that came up within the case itself. Okay, so once you establish the law, right? Once you establish the law, i.e. the test, right? So you apply the test masuk ke dalam the situation that is given in the question. So bila as a lawyer later on, you establish the law first. You cannot simply say that he is in breach of his duty because he should foresee. Now, when you talk about the application without establishing the law, then you are just putting hearsay. Okay, it is something that you cannot force people to say that this is the law, you should know. No, you have to prove that is the law. Only then you can say that by applying the law. Nampak tak? Guys, okay, I yang cakap banyak ni. Ya Allah, dah lagi 20 minit. Nampak tak ada komen pun? Soalan?
Ada tak lain lagi?
Tak sempat lah.
No.
Tapi at least kita dapat yang Fitri punya as the foundation for everyone else.
Okay.
What we are doing actually, if for every question, for every situation, okay, kalau dalam kita boleh pakai juga for every law yang tak ada what they call it yang ada law yang established by virtue of akta or the one that is by virtue of case law, i.e. courts punya decision. So mana-mana paper yang you buat, okay, be it contract ke, be it land ke, constitutional law ke, you must establish the law. How to establish the law? Kita tengok dia punya provision dalam akta. Kalau ada provision akta tu clear, then you apply the akta straight away. Tapi kalau provision dalam akta tak clear, it has to be supported by case law. Kalau you buat konsti pun sama je. Semua sama, simple gila je nak buat law ni. Okay, you establish the law, that is the provision. You cari law yang ada, they are not conflicting with each other. And then you kata, kalaulah kata law tu not very clear, which is vague, so you letak case law to support that dalam case law tu, court telah pakai interpret section dalam akta tu. So it reinforce your law. So once you are reinforcing your law, once the law is strong, then you can apply to your problem. Any problem that is given, it is easy for you to do. Because, Fikri, tengok nombor 5 tu. Nampak tak? Once you establish the law, which is the key element that must be proven, then you are not running away from the problem, and you are not using your what they call it, you punya knowledge, general knowledge. This is not general knowledge because we are trying to win the case. If you are going to win the case, this is the method for you to do. Establish the law, apply the law. Okay. One thing that we are unable, the student that is lacking is they can establish the law, yeah, but even that pun salah. Dia orang selalu ingat facts is important. Facts tak pernah pun important. Okay, facts tu tak important. Fact is dia punya penyebab kepada law tu dibuat. So kalaulah facts tu bila kita letak balik dalam soalan, it makes no sense. Because the most important thing is what happened from the facts is the law. Now the law tu kalau kita establish, kita pakailah case macam mana pun, sebab nanti you jadi lawyer nanti, klien datang, dia bawa presentation of a facts that is different from Donoghue and Stevenson. You kata, oh saya tak boleh nak bagi opinion lah sebab fakta you tak sama dengan dalam Donoghue and Stevenson. You tak penting pun Donoghue and Stevensonnya facts. They are nothing. It's just that the law that was derived. So any problem yang you come about, contoh macam soalan ni, right? So what you need to do is to establish the law and the relationship of the law to the problem that is given. So jadi klien you akan datang nak masuk office you, bagi benda facts yang gila-gila, yang pelik-pelik. So you have to not be worried at all because you know the law. It is not about the importance of the facts. It is importance of the law. Okay. Once you establish the law is real, valid, proper, tak ada dindong between courts A dengan courts B yang kata law ni macam mana. So if you are able to do that, confirm kata law tu is law, then you move to the application. And dalam application, you don't talk about the case anymore. Nampak tak slide ni? Ya, nampak Fitri? The rest pun you should see that there is no case. Buang case Bleed Birmingham tu. Fitri, buang. Nampak tak? Dalam slide application ataupun dalam mode application, you tak bincang lagi case. Kenapa you tak bincang case? Case tu hanya important untuk establish law. Bila law tu dah establish, case tu tak important lagi dah. Kenapa you nak kena ulang application? Dalam application you mention back the case. It doesn't make sense. Okay? Case hanya important untuk establish the law. Once the law dah ada, which is reasonableness, foreseeable, proximate, those are the law. Yeah, the keyword ni, foreseeability, proximity, reasonableness, must take care, all those are law. So what you need to do is just apply the law. Never ever put in cases in your application. Kenapa you nak kena ulang balik? Sebab tadi dah establish dah. You have done your job to establish it is the law. I'm not giving it on my own accord. I tak guessing. This is proven. Once you have proven the law, Now apply the law. When you apply, never go back to the problem. Unless kalau you dapat essay. Kalau lah essay problem, essay question. Kalau essay question is different because dia critical analysis of the law, of negligence. So dia kata, what do you think about negligence in terms of its usage by courts in Malaysia or in UK? Itu comparative analysis. You have to discuss, you have to be criticized, criticizing the case in terms of the decision of that judge X, judge Y. So many things that you can do there. Itu essay question. Kalau problematic question, ini application yang dipakai dalam mahkamah. Okay, bukan kita, ini cuba training you dalam exam, training you dalam pembelajaran. However, dalam actual one, this is the situation. The actual case dalam mahkamah, you have to prove the law as the law and you apply to the problem. Jadi method dia ILEC lah, issue, law, application and conclusion. Sama, semua case dalam dunia ni, the court dalam dunia sama dia pakai ILEC. Okay, issue, law, issue dia apa, law dia apa, establish through case law ataupun akta if you have akta, and then apply the law, apply the keywords as you can see now in this slide, and then do your conclusion. Never make a conclusion before you apply, before you state the law and before you apply. Sometimes people start with David is wrong because he owes a duty. Tak, itu dah salah lah. Okay? Because you cannot make someone responsible without proving that he is responsible in the first place. Responsible macam mana? Through the law. Macam mana the law? Through the case of the law that has been decided by the court. Okay. Siapa? Ada orang duk cakap. Ada orang tanya-tanya. Oh, caustic. Okay. Right. So with that, everyone, the recording ni nanti tengok sendiri, and then you have to make sense. I rasa I explain a lot, and you just apply je, whatever. Yeah.
Okay. Nanti I share this slide in the group.
Actually, this one is recorded, so they can see.
Oh, okay.
They can see the progress of our discussion today.
So last question, sir.
By the way, yang ni kan, kita discussion buat masuk dalam island. I want you to go. Slide Fitri, tolong masukkan dalam island.
Okay, boleh.
Right. Siapa nak tanya soalan? So for those yang ada kelas, sorry.
Okay, bila kita dah yang apply, bila dah discuss dah semua, lepas tu last kali causation kena discuss juga kan?
Causation, yes. Causation ni maksudnya you have to discuss the causation. You sama dengan kat atas to prove the law first.
Macam biasalah kan?
Macam biasa.
Ya, semua kena discuss lah.
Tapi Aina, you all relax. Jangan rasa macam kekok, takut. Allah, macam mana nak buat ni? Jangan takut, relax. Jangan pakai, ada yang kata Allah English I tak bagus. Tak apa, pakai English yang biasa-biasa sahaja. Janji, maksud, sampai. Macam ni, dia nampak macam ayat, ni nampak macam canggih. Ini adalah ayat logik. You guna ayat logik lah kata. Dia kalau nak bawa ke kawasan residential, kena slow down lah. Kenapa yang dia tak boleh slow down? But you put it in your normal way of language. Jangan rasa terkekok macam mana nak buat ni. Aduh. Tak. Once you dah faham the law, it's just a application saja. How to apply? Be relax. Jangan kekok. Sebab kekok ni dia akan jadi salah. Be confident.
Okay, sir.
Right.
Thank you, sir.
So, thank you very much, everyone. So, all the best in your finals. Hopefully, everything goes well lah. Yeah. Bye.
Thank you.
Thank you, Sir Arif.
Thank you. Thank you.
Bye.
Bye. Thank you.